I've had a couple people ask me how much extra I've paid to the principal each year in comparison to our minimum payment. And one thing about me, I love running these types of numbers, especially since you guys know I track every single payment. So I have no problem talking about that. So let's see, because I think that it would be super fun to compare everything. So first thing we need to double check on is how much we would have paid each month if we had paid the minimum all this time, especially year over year. So first off, this is 1 full year. This is our first year. Obviously, if we paid the minimum, the amount that we would have paid would have been the same every single year because you're paying the same payment. So when I highlight all of this, it tells me here in the middle at the bottom that the amount that we would have paid year over year would have been $12,854.52. In 2020, we paid technically 3 payments because we were paying them like ahead of time, ahead of the due date. Our first payment was November 1st, and we paid 3 times, October, November, and December. So 3 of these payments, let's see how much that would have been. $3,213.63. Tells me the sum in the bottom left of each spreadsheet. So that is a difference of about almost $60 the first year. So the first year we paid almost an additional $60. Big deal, right? So let's go to the the first full year. 2021. Every payment we made in 2021 is here. It's a lot. So I'm gonna just highlight and make it real easy because this is how much we paid each payment. The first full year, we paid a total of $50,275.28. And let me actually get my calculator going so I can keep track of how much we've paid altogether extra. So first year and second year, $3,271.26. And then I'm going to subtract what we would have done. 213.63. That is $57.63. 2021, it was a total of $50,275.28, which I literally hate that because I don't know if anybody else can relate. I like roundabout numbers. Like if I could have not paid that extra 28 cents, it would have been a roundabout number, but that's okay. Like we said, 1 year comes to $12,854. So now I'm going to take what we paid the first year and subtract it from what we would have done if it was the minimum. So 50,275.28 minus $12,854.52. That equals an additional $37,420.76 on the principal. So when I add that with the $57.63 from 2020, that equals $37,478. Okay, so for 2020 and 2021, we are at 37478.39. Now let's see for 2022. All right, it lets me know that in 2022, we paid $67,550. You see, I learned my lesson from the first year when I did not make it a roundabout number. We're gonna subtract that again from $67,550 minus $12,854.52. That equals an additional $54,695 that we paid. 2023, we paid $59,580 minus $12,854.52. So for 2023, it is 46725.48. Now, obviously, so far we are not done with 2024 yet, but I can do what we've done so far. So far, as of today, I just paid us up until December 1st. I'm going to count this time the first 11 months instead of December. We'll keep that out. So instead, this time it'll be $11,783.31. So far this year, we have paid, 45,000. Oh wait, let me get my calculator. 45,860 minus 11,783 0.31, and that's an additional 34,076.69. Let's see how much we've paid additionally in total. So 34,076, this is so far for 2024, plus 46,725.48, and now we're gonna do 2022. We paid an additional 54,695.48, and then 2020 through 2021, 37,478.39. On top of our minimum payments where interest and principal is already coming off, we've paid an additional, or I should say we've prepaid $172,976.04 on our mortgage over the course of 4 years. Obviously very extreme, understandable that this is not going to be the norm for a lot of people, but we are just weird and we want to pay off our house in less than 5 years, and we have the capability of doing it, so we are going to get it done. We're expecting our balance to be about the high 33,000s by the end of the year, so we're expecting to lower our balance by 14 more thousand by the end of this year still. Majority of that's gonna go to principal, which is crazy. Honestly, it goes over my head. And a part of me, I'm just like, I'm so glad that we've gotten this out the way and done this now, because looking at these numbers at the beginning of your journey and saying, this is what we have to do, I can see how it can easily overwhelm someone and feel like it's completely impossible. It sounds crazy on paper, but us doing it, I'm glad that we're done with the over 200,000 that we've paid so far, and we only have a little bit to go. Like, we're almost done. Let's see how much we've paid off so far. Calculator.net is usually my go-to for every calculator I could possibly need, so I'm just gonna find a percentage calculator really quick and put in my current balance. We started at 254,112 and we're at 47,443. So that is a 81% decrease, meaning that we've paid off 81% of our house. In 4 years, we have less than 19% to go. Don't get overwhelmed by these numbers. Like, if you're someone who wants to pay off your house early, I see a lot of comments sometimes where people are like, it would take me blah, blah, blah to do that. That sounds impossible. Like, I just think that we have to do a lot of trial and error sometimes, and we have to adjust. If I had said on the day that we closed on this house, well, let's pay it off in 5 years, yes, that's very overwhelming. And probably I'm like, that sounds impossible. But instead, I set a very realistic goal from the very beginning. I said, let's do 10 years because we just spent 3 years paying off 100K of debt. This is over double. I wanted to make it very comfortable and very doable for us to pay it off in 10 years. And then if you adjust later on in your journey and you're like, actually, we could do this sooner, then do it sooner. But don't compare yourself to me or anyone else and just be like, how can I do this? What can I do this? Everybody has their own journey. I don't expect anyone else to pay off their house in 5 years. If you have the means to do so and you want to, absolutely do it. It feels amazing, honestly, every single time we make a payment. But the comparisons are just things that I just don't think is like healthy. And I just think that everybody has to run their own race and say, what is doable for me? What do I want to do? Paying off your house in 7 years is still amazing. 8 years, that's still amazing. 10, that's still great. And I just think that the norm has been for so long with a mortgage to pay a crazy amount of interest and pay your house off in 30 years. And that's just the norm. And I just feel like we just don't do the norm. Like, we just do things so different. We're so weird and crazy. Why not take it a step further and pay off our house in record time? I was thinking about that because someone commented on something somewhere of mine and said that they're paying $1 million in interest, which I've seen that before. If you have like a 7% interest rate, like how things have been lately, I would want to pay off my house even more in that scenario, because really the higher your interest rate is, the less amount of extra money you have to put towards it to pay it off early and save 6 figures of interest. Like, not even just 100K, but 200K, 300K. So I just think it's been such the norm for a long time to just pay your house off in 30 years and pay all the interest that comes with it. But why? I just think that we need to change so many things about society and the norm of things. For example, working 40 hours a week. Like, there's a few people that commented on my video about that, and they're just like, that's the way it's always been. Why are you trying to do something different? Like, indicating I'm lazy, what have you. But so what? There's a lot of terrible things that have just always been that way in history, and doesn't mean that we never changed it. I mean, I'm not gonna get on my soapbox about it, but I think you guys can guess that there's a lot of things that happened in the past that had always been that way and needed to be changed. Not that I'm expecting to change the world, but I'm just saying that we can step outside of the box sometimes and realize that there's other ways that we can do things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, that is how much extra we've put towards our mortgage in the past 4 years, and we're not done yet. I remember feeling like whenever we were paying off debt, like it was just always something that we were like, wow, this feels impossible, like we can never do it. And the closer we got to it, I'm like, wait, this is actually about to happen. Like we're actually going to be debt free. And it's funny because the normal person who has $47,000 of debt, like this mortgage balance, and they're just like, that's so much money, I am so overwhelmed. But we feel so driven and excited at a $47,000 balance because we're just so extreme about it, and we're still enjoying ourselves. It doesn't have to be deprivation. I feel like I live a life that I would live regardless of us paying extra on this mortgage or not. It depends on the person. I'm such a let's stay home, like let me just get home, let me just eat out and like come back home type of person. Like I like being in the house, so I don't feel like I'm losing out on anything. There's a lot of people who have a different life, and that's fine, but since I'm already this type of person, why not really do what I can with it and become mortgage free before I turn 30? Why not? Anyway, that's where we're at. Let me know what you guys think. And I love when I get comments that I can actually expand on, because I love running these numbers.